Welcome to rSlash Entitled Parents, and I have a very special episode for you today because one of my listeners sent in an actual recorded telemarketer call from an insane entitled parent. I'm not sure if everyone wants to hear it, so I put it at the very end of this video, but here's a quick 10-second clip.
I need your first and last name. The police are listening.
Okay, my name's Alex.
What's your last name?
I don't give my last name all over.
You called my house, Alex! Oh! Then let me talk to your supervisor. The police are ready.
Background: I work for the MBD, the Russian Internal Affairs. In their OMOH, it's basically our FBI SWAT. I'm not very high ranking, but I do have some authority in the department. I was in a small town called Veronas in the southwest. I'd been out celebrating my recent promotion with a few friends from school and had a nasty hangover in the morning, the perks of old age, so was in a bit of a foul mood. Right as I turned in along the main road, I noticed the traffic. It's well known that Russians are terrible drivers, so I just assumed that there had been some kind of accident. My headphones were in by this point, so I couldn't hear the Mercedes pull off the road behind me and onto the sidewalk, about 3 meters wide. There were steel barriers along the curb, but they don't stretch the full way. It was a G-Wagon pulling up right behind me before blasting the horn and storming out of the car. The conversation after went something like this. The entitled dad said, "Get out of the road!" "This isn't the road. This is the sidewalk. Back up." "I have to get my kid to school. Move out of the way. Don't you know who I am?" Me, not in the mood. No, and frankly, I don't care. I'm not in a rush. I'll stand in front of you all morning. "Look at the sticker." Sure enough, he has an MBD sticker on his windscreen. He probably took an official car to drop his kid off, wanting to save gas money. That doesn't give you the right to drive on the sidewalk whenever you want. Back the F up. Now. Watch your language. My child is in the car. He gestures, and sure enough, Entitled Teen is playing on his phone and just chilling in the back. He hasn't been listening, and probably knows more swear words than I do. At this point, other people had started to notice the commotion from their own cars that weren't going anywhere. "Sir, I'm not moving." "I need to take Entitled Teen to school now. Move out of my way or I'll arrest you." I had officially run out of flips to give. Out of principle, I was going to stand on the pavement anyway, but now I was not moving out of pure spite. I laughed. "Oh, what are you going to arrest me for?" "Obstructing an officer of the law. Now get out of..." No. I don't think he was expecting that. He stormed back to his car, and I thought that would be the end of it as I turned away, but no. The entitled dad revs his engine before pushing up behind me until the bumper knocks me off balance. "Are you out of your effing mind?" He rolls down the window to shout out of it, "I need to take my son to school." I reach into my back pocket and pull out my badge, which, even from a distance, is visibly MBD OMOH, and entitled dad goes visibly pale. I didn't have to say anything else before he spun the gears and reversed away. In the end, he had to rejoin the traffic jam at the back, and so spent even more time in that traffic jam. So, just for clarity, this is basically the equivalent of a local cop trying to threaten an FBI SWAT member. "Do you know who I am?" "Sir, do you know who I am?" Our next Reddit post is from Ans89. "I got slut-shamed and made to feel like trash by my Mormon fiance's mom." It's important to note that I'm 30 now, so this happened when I was still in high school. So I met this guy when I was 16, and we started dating. Fast forward 2 years, and we're both out of high school and engaged. Looking back on it, an 18-year-old has no business being engaged. Anyway, my then fiance had been raised Mormon and wanted me to convert to his religion as that was what was expected by me and everyone in his big Mormon family. So I went through all the lessons and got baptized in the church. That part is important. His family was Air Force, and so they moved around a lot. So shortly after he proposed, his family moved to Colorado, so the relationship became long distance. That summer, when he came to visit, things got hot and heavy, and we ended up losing our virginity to each other. I'd been raised to save myself for marriage, and figured since I was engaged to this guy, who at the time was the love of my life, it was basically the same thing. Big mistake. So, a few days later, he gets typical Mormon guilt and decides to tell both his parents and his bishop at church. Next thing I know, my mom gets a call from fiance's mother telling her I'm no longer welcome at their home. When my mom asked why, she was told that Jezebels and harlots aren't welcome in the house of the Lord because my son would have never been tempted or agreed to any of this if your daughter wasn't such a temptress. At this point, my mom goes off on her, telling her that she hates to break it to her, but it takes two to tango. And she might want to have a conversation with her son, as he was more than capable of making that decision on his own, as we were both 18. His mother then hangs up in my mom's face, and for the next 2 weeks, proceeds to make a point to call our house at least twice a day, leaving messages on our answering machine about how much of a slut I am, how God hates me, and I should be ashamed of myself. At this point, I honestly had no experience in handling any of this and would be reduced to tears on the daily. From a religious perspective, I understand the value of chastity before marriage, but when you resort to acts of harassment and slander is beyond my comprehension, even to this day. You might be asking what consequences befell my fiance during all of this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He told his parents and they forgave him and told him that he was a victim and not responsible. His bishop, the Mormon equivalent of a pastor, told him to ask God for forgiveness and read his scriptures daily. To make matters worse, his mother decides to make a phone call to the bishop at my church and tell him everything that happened. Next thing I know, I'm getting pulled into his office and told that my sin was second only to murder, and that God and his grace have abandoned me. I was beside myself in tears. Furthermore, I was told that I was no longer allowed to teach Sunday school, and I wasn't permitted to sit with anyone during the sermon. That's right, I was made to sit by myself and separate from everyone just to drive the point home that I wasn't worthy to sit with everyone else. The whole experience was absolutely horrific and caused me a lot of trauma that I had to work through as a result. His mother still maintains to this day that I'm the worst person on the face of the planet and that her son is a saint. Needless to say, we broke off our engagement and went our separate ways. Update on the aftermath. After I stopped going to Sacramento or the ward in general, the Mormon missionaries would routinely sit outside my house, waiting for either me or my mom to get home. When I moved to a new city, they continued to sit outside my mom's house to ask me where I was. Somehow, they found out where I'd moved, transferred my records to that ward, and the harassment continued. It took 5 years and a cease and desist letter from a lawyer to get them to leave me alone and remove my name from church records. OP, sounds like you dodged a bullet. Imagine having that woman as your mother-in-law for the rest of your life. Our next Reddit post is from Allie is Dead. Okay, first off, my aunt is a real SOB. She uses her family for her gain and gives zero cares about anyone but herself and her image, and her friends. She will only talk to us if we have something that she wants. She lives in one of the most expensive parts of Sacramento, while our immediate family all lives and has lived in the same area nearly my mom and aunt's entire lives. She's very entitled and thinks highly of herself. She and her husband and children are the type of people who are always keeping up with the Joneses. She has to be admired and loved from strangers. She scams money out of whoever she can, especially my grandma, which is how she's able to live in such an expensive area and claim back issues and not work. Or she'll work and immediately quit if someone doesn't like her, smoke weed, and hang out all day while her husband gets drunk and acts like a dick. With that out of the way, let me tell you about what happened Friday afternoon. I'm the semi-black sheep of the family. I'm not mean, I'm not rude, I don't talk trash, nor do I socialize much with my family because I know they don't really like having me around. So no one ever calls or talks about me in regards of how I am or what I'm doing, which is usually nothing. So I was surprised to get a phone call from my aunt, the entitled grunt. I didn't know the number, didn't know at the time how she got my number, but I was waiting on a call from my doctor, so I answered without a second thought. So I answer, hoping it's my doctor, but I hear my aunt's voice. She and I have never been close. I don't like her. I don't think I've ever liked her. I burned myself as a child because she wouldn't let me have a bath since she was entertaining her friends and getting high. So I went and made myself a bath and burned most of the skin on my legs, thighs, and butt off. That's how much I hate her. And her daughter would steal my dolls, toys, whatever she could get her hands on, and she never gave them back. Nor would anyone believe me when I'd find my stuff destroyed at their house. Anyway, I answered, and I'm extremely confused when I hear the grunt's voice. She tries to sound all sweet and nice. Hey, how you doing? Grandma says you're sick. Yeah, I am. I absolutely hate talking, especially to a grunt on the phone. Okay, she's quiet before she gets to the point as to why she's calling me. The one niece she hasn't or couldn't steal or con from. Well, you still work at Party Town, right? My grandson needs a costume for Halloween. I want a discount, or can you sneak one out for me? I kinda just sat there thinking, is this woman serious? Did she really just say that? Did she ask me for something I can't do even if I wanted to without asking nicely with a please? And did she not know what day it was? The store would be packed with parents who couldn't make more time to get a Halloween costume 6 days before Halloween. What? Are you high? I don't work there. I worked there 4 years ago for like 2 months. Who said I worked there? And why would you think I'd give you a discount or steal for you, of all people? I get annoyed to heck and back when someone tells me what I'm going to do. And it's a week before Halloween. There's no costumes left. My aunt let out this weird, ugh, sound and starts saying something like, don't be selfish. Your thieving cousin needs a costume for her son. He's only 3 years old. Are you really going to be a jerk and not get him a costume? After her little rage, all I can do is just laugh. I'd taken some pain meds for my knee, so I'm kinda loopy and tired, and thinking I'm dreaming, and all I do is laugh. I could hear my sticky-fingered cousin chime in, calling me a selfish jerk and how she's going to get me fired for stealing. Somehow, they came up with the idea that I steal costumes for my teenage nephews at a job I don't work at, because my grandma told them I worked there once 4 years ago during Halloween. She and my cousin are still yelling at me on the phone until I stop laughing. My eyes are closed and I'm on the edge of sleep, and I tell them I don't work there. I haven't worked there in 4 years. I was working with my mom until 2 years ago, you stupid morons. Man, you guys can't stop coming up with scams and schemes long enough to get facts straight before you call and harass people. You don't listen to grandma tell you about us when you come down asking for money? F off, you ingrates. That's all I remember before I passed out. I woke up Saturday morning with a stiff leg and missed calls and texts from my grandma and aunt. My grandma was apologizing and said she set my aunt straight. But an hour later, my aunt calls and says, you can get grandma to lie for you, but I know you're a selfish jerk like your mom, and won't even help out family. I just listened to her, tired as anything, trying to stretch my leg and let her go on. I'm going to be in later today for my grandson's costume, and it better be half off or free. Yeah, I would love to see that. But even if I could stand to walk or be in public, I don't care enough to watch her humiliate herself or try to belittle seasonal employees. And the jerk didn't even tell me what costume she was looking for anyway. If I worked there, was I just supposed to grab any toddler costume for her punk toddler? I feel bad for the kid, but my aunt is such an effing jerk, and she's hurt my grandma too much for me to even consider helping her or my cousins. Somehow this post is a combination of entitled parents, I don't work here lady, choosing beggars, and tales from retail. Our next Reddit post is from Bluelin. Hey, so I got reminded of a lady at my job who seriously tried to get me to have intercourse and have a baby. So I'm asexual, been that way for years. I've also been diagnosed with unspecified psychosis, depression, and anxiety. The chance of me having intercourse is slim, and the chance of me having kids is even slimmer. My coworkers know about my mental issues. I ended up in a mental hospital for a bit and they wondered where I was. And this one parent was trying desperately for me to have intercourse because intercourse would cure my depression and a baby would cure my psychosis. Why is she entitled? Because she has 3 kids she only kept around for a check and blew all her money on drugs. But she apparently has enough knowledge to know how to cure mental illness. She also tried hitting on guys young enough to be her kids, and no matter how many times I told her intercourse wouldn't cure me, she never let it drop. She finally got locked up, and after the second time her kids were taken away. But having kids worked out so well for her, so I should just listen. Yes, because as we all know, having a newborn baby is basically a mental vacation. That was rSlash Entitled Parents, and this is an insane lady on the phone screaming at a telemarketer.
Volunteer, my house has been broken into. I need to talk to your lawyer. I just called my lawyer.
What state are you from, ma'am?
It doesn't make any difference. You don't get to ask me any questions. I was just abused. I can call you any swear name. I need your first and last name. And believe me, there are consequences. Mm-hmm. It was to the point where I actually had an appendix rupture because of telemarketing calls. But it doesn't matter what state it is illegal. You're a arrested, you're a hater, hurt, or life destroyer. I need your first and last name. The police are listening.
Okay, my name's Alex.
What's your last name?
I don't give my last name out over
You called my house, Alex. Oh! Then let me talk to your supervisor. The police are ready.
Okay, I actually am a supervisor here. I can help you.
You broke a law. You did a felony arrest. You called my number. Oh! I used to be an EMT. People died because my answering machine was full. You don't have to give your last name, Alex.
Not if I don't want to.
You son of a motherfucker. Well, okay, so what?
Are the police really listening in on this?
What?
Are the police really?
They want me to get you. You bet. Wait, you can hear it in a minute. You can hear the click. You guys? I heard a click.
Okay.
Okay? You call people's houses?
Mm-hmm. And by the way, we fully abide by the do not call list rules.
We are all on it. You cannot call anybody. And what are you talking about? But you sick. Okay,
I'm calling.
Alex, I need to know, what is your tax number?
Yeah,
yes. And Alex, here's what we do. The organization I'm a part of, I know 3 people have died, literally. We will find out who all your female relatives are, and they will never, ever be off any list. Do you understand? We will find out who, like Alex is. We do that. All of your female relatives. And then we will go to your teachers. Your taxes will be audited every single year for the rest of your life. It will not even be a smidgen of the pain that you caused by your telemarketing. You nasty son of a bitch. You are a murderer. You're a hater. You're a life destroyer. If every telemarketer could call every number, there could not be private phone calls. People die. People have hernias that rupture. People's appendixes. People cannot call their ambulances. But you are worse than any terrorist, and we will find out. I will go to my lawyer, the police. I think he walked outside. We will find out, you and your family, and you will be on every telemarketing list in the world.
That sounds like
you'll be on your phone will never stop ringing. Your taxes will be audited, and your children's teachers will know what you have done.
Are you sure?
You are a life destroyer. You are a terrorist. You are a painmaker. You are a murderer. You are a life destroyer. You are a nasty human being. You deserve every pain known to man. If we find out your last name, there will be charges brought. Do you understand? Every year for the rest of your life, you and your family's taxes will be audited.
That sounds like a threat to me.
Yes, it is a threat. Because they're calling my number that's blocked.
In which case, I'm glad the
police are
felony.
That is a felony. My house has been broken into. Yeah, it's a threat. It's a legal threat. Compared to what you've done to us, that we will have your taxes audited. You're a lying, cruel, you're a lying, cruel criminal.
Okay.
And then all of your family will be on every call list. Isn't it interesting you consider that a threat?
It doesn't really bother me. I'm already.
Okay, they will never ever sleep. Before we got our taken off, our phone rang every 10 or 15 minutes all night. And that was just in 3 states. Now, your family, any of them, if we find, will never, ever be able to have a normal listed phone number, ever.
Okay.
That's okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any grandmother?
Sure.
They will never, ever be able to have a normal phone number. That's okay with you?
Yeah.
Your parents, they get called every 5 or 10 minutes, every 24 hours a day?
I already do.
And you think that's okay?
It doesn't bother me, ma'am.
So then you're an abuser. Okay, so you don't, so do you ignore it? What do your children do?
No, if I hear the pause from the predictive dialer, I would just hang up if I don't feel like talking.
So you cannot have, so what if you're eating dinner or going to the bathroom? You have to get up, or do you take the phone to the table so you hear the pause and hang up?
You know, if I wasn't able to get to the phone, I'd just let it ring, and if it's important, they'll leave it.
Oh my God, so your family lets the phone ring the whole time? You son of a bitch! What an abusive! So you never have conversations, you never listen to music, you never watch movies, you never talk because the phone is ringing all the time? You're lying, you son of a bitch!
Okay.
You are a hater, like this, you son of a bitch, son of a bitch. So are you saying now? I'm getting it calmed down. So you're saying that if where you live, the phone never stops ringing, and that's okay with you? Because that is one reason we can have social services go to your home.
I hope they play this tape in court someday, ma'am.
Are you? It won't go to court, but it will go to your superiors.
Okay.
And we certainly are calling and asking about any Alex. And if you're laughing, we have a list here. If you don't know the state, that is odd. I am very blind. We have a list here of deaths because of calls.
Mm-hmm. I would think that you'd have a hard time proving that, but okay.
Oh, wait, I'm going to say that have already been called. I mean, that have already gone to court. People who have died. People who could not get to ambulances. People who had miscarriages. People who could not dial 911. People who could not sleep all night because of the calls. In our state, we take them to court, you bet. Mm-hmm. And you're laughing? So you're saying your phone never stops ringing, and your family doesn't care?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, your wife will leave you, believe me.
I'm not married.
But you have, so what was this about the children don't care?
What's that?
So you're there with your children? You were lying about that?
I never said I had children.
I said that you have a family. Yeah, and you said yes. And you don't care that the phone rings every time. We just don't answer it.
Everybody has a family, ma'am. I mean, there's not just the children.
So you're saying that you laughed at me and ridiculed me?
I'm not laughing at you, ma'am.
You said I'd like to hear this played back in court. I'm supposed to say I'm actually supposed to get your last name and call the police. You don't ever call a human being. And so if we had to call and block every number, then we would have to do that every 10 minutes. You are sick. You are a terrorist.
Okay.
You are a rapist. You are a
rapist. That's a pretty harsh accusation.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding what you are doing? I have a girlfriend who was gang raped. She said that her telemarketing calls, she actually moved. It's much worse. It's much more of an invasion and more permanent pain, more life destruction, more permanent life destruction, home destruction, life destruction. We cannot live. Yes, are you kidding that you don't compare yourself with rape? Here in the state, and I'm afraid to give the state because and when it went to court, it was compared to the level of abuse where the person is unconscious and permanently damaged. Mm-hmm. It was compared to that level of physical abuse, and that brought it up to a first-class felony. You sick SOB. And you're laughing at me? No, that was in our legislature. It is so life-destroying that people cannot function as a family or in their workplace or sleeping. You are a hurter here, life destroyer, every breath. You are worse than anything we're fighting in Iraq. You are an abuser. You are a hater, hurter, sick, sadist, son of a bitch.
I understand.
I'll find out who the Alex is who work. All the Alexes that work for your company. You will all be audited, and be on every phone list. And if that's a threat, what is you doing? You nasty. You hurt people for a living. You ruined their lives. You ruined homes. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
That was r/Entitledparents, and oh my god, that lady was nuts. If you have any similar recordings, either video or audio, of someone absolutely losing their cool, then please send it to me.